Hello everyone, this is Cauterize. I want to do a very informal video after the Escaping the Shadow Soulslike video went up. It was an essay I wrote maybe like a month, two ago, just out of curiosity, because I had this idea that I wanted to get out, and I could discuss it with friends, but not in the same way that I wanted to. You know, there's a lot that I wanted to put out, a lot of points to make with it. And then once I wrote it at like whatever time it was in the morning, I sort of looked at it and I was like, yeah, do you know what? That's good enough. I did some like tweaks here and there when I was recording the script itself, and I know it's very off-brand for what the rest of my channel is. But to be fair, my channel is more for me than for anyone else. You know, kind of a way to store, I guess, ideas or concepts, or just a way to prolong having even just like clips from games. Obviously, a lot of my stuff has been very meme and comedy based, but I wanted to put this down and put it out somewhere where I felt like it was actually going to have an impact. And after having spent functionally like two days editing this video and going through like so many iterations, both of the script and of the audio and all, I'm still sort of dissatisfied with it. I'm kind of looking at it like, oh god, I hate the way my voice sounds, and no, I should have edited this, and I should have done this, and blah blah blah. So I decided a bit of a post-analysis video might not be too bad. It might end up being longer than the video itself, but I mean, we'll see. I'll try to get the points down and succinct. I know big YouTubers normally put this as like a separate video on a separate channel, but I figure since this is more amateurish, I might as well just keep it in one place. But yeah, this video itself might go through a couple of iterations, or this recording might go through a couple of iterations. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the background. I'll probably just put up some like Night Rain video or gameplay, just keep it relevant. But yeah, there's a couple of things I wanted to go over in regards to the actual video itself. I still support a lot of the points I made, but I certainly feel like there's this sort of gap in it. You know, when I was first writing it, I wanted to get this idea out, which was, it's so clear that Elden Ring Night Rain relies on its past, and it's such a big change, and people are really like, a lot of people play it, yeah, but when they just sort of discuss it, they don't really see it as like a Souls-like. They kind of see it's like a From Software game, and obviously it's difficult combat, but it's doing something that's so like different and weird, and like you can kind of build craft in it, but it's abandoned a lot of the stuff that came before it. You know, the original sort of Souls-like, I guess, mechanics and things like that. Which I made a couple of points later in the video, like to do with like how the map is. Well, the map is set, but enemy spawns they change a little bit, and I guess with this video I want to, or at least the point I want to make right now is that the more you think about it, and these are points which I wish I could have introduced into the essay. If you look at, like, we have bosses from old games coming back. Now, nothing from Sekiro yet, as far as I know. Yeah, no, not yet. We have a lot of Elden Ring, and I think when the reason I was inspired to make this video is because, or that video was because people talked about like, oh, you know, there's so many Elden Ring creatures in this. I'm like, well, yeah, they're not exactly gonna try to revive some of the really old NPCs or just like these broken soldiers. They'll bring back bosses, sure, but to be fair, I'd actually like if they brought back a number of the old enemies. Yeah, that's the word, enemies. But, you know, like, we have the Nameless King, we have Duke Steer Freya, we have the Dancer of the Boreal Valley. Like, all these things they come from the different games, and mechanically they're very similar. Obviously, they've gotten a couple of updates. Like, if you're into the sort of Souls, like, you've probably seen Zuli the Witch, all her videos, which are absolutely amazing. To this day, I still some of the best Souls-like videos out there, just because it gets behind the scenes and allows you to look deeper. That's something that's one of the reasons I myself work in the games industry, is because I like that. I like being able to see behind the curtain and being able to sort of get to the end point of creating something. But she showed that, like, there's so many of these games showed that you created this, sorry, so many of these creatures, these enemies, these bosses, added special animations for like grabs or things like that. You know, the game, it's not that it's easy to play, but it's certainly become a lot easier for people that didn't want to go and just like play Elden Ring. Like, I'm not sure how many new players there might be. I think a lot of people would play Elden Ring before they play Night Rain, but even conceptually, I think it's a video that's very good for. Oh my god, what am I saying? It's a game that's really good for new players, just to get like a trial of everything, and then they can like I said, the finger snapping team, like, oh my god, look at that, it's right there. That's Duke's dear Freya, and then proceed to get like killed when the animations are a little bit different. But I think, you know, Elden Ring, Night Rain, in like a very general sense, yes, we got the new bosses. Old bosses that have been sort of remade, brought up. We don't really have like new weapons or new spells. In fact, we have a far more limited arsenal than we had before. But looking at the characters, like that's where the legacy really kicks in. Like, as I said at some point in the video, we have like Executor, who is obviously, what's his name? The one-armed wolf. You know, he like parrying and blocking. Yeah, the quote: parries and blocks like the one-armed Sekiro, building poise on enemies before striking with a wide slash through the enemy's guard. And then obviously like Wilder, Guardian, Recluse, Revenant, Raider, all them. They're kind of the embodiment of those bread and butter builds. You know, I can't remember who it is. I think it might be Jacob Geller. Anyway, there is someone who speaks about that one of their friends went back and played like Demon Souls and Dark Souls, and they played really restrictively, but once they got to like Dark Souls 3, they sort of stopped using shields and things like that. But obviously people still use shields a lot, even in these old games, because the system very heavily relied on it. And so we have Guardian, who is really, really well built. It takes a while to get used to him, but he's really well built for that kind of thing. And then obviously you got the Raiders. I have friends who I obviously played the game with, and they're very kind of unga bunga, power stance, strength build. And I'm very much just sort of light on my feet, dodgy type of person. I might not be good at it, but even just conceptually, that like difference. And obviously they went straight for Raider, and I went straight for Iron Eye or Duchess. Eventually I ended up playing like every character, which is great. But like these characters who are so central to it, they are the legacy. You know, they're not new. Nothing in this game is new. Everything is reused. Everything is old. You know, all these people that can get into the code, they've looked backwards at the game, and they've seen evidence of like even just the IDs. Like as with, like I said, Zully the Witch, she can look at the IDs and see, oh, this is what the type of boss is meant to be, because they're stored in this sort of segment of the IDs in the game file itself, which I love. Even just conceptually, I love, and that's what's great. Like From Software, because they so because they make everything themselves, they so zealously guard it. It's so hard for people to sort of take that and put it in their games. So because they built these things under such an amazing framework, there's so much like utility. It's one of the reasons why they are such a good company. You know, you look at Call of Duty and Activision. That thing is built on spaghetti code. Like, it is built on really, really old code. And that's not a good thing, conceptually. But it is useful to, like, be able to grab something from before and then basically drag it into your new game. But in a situation like that, not really. However, you look at From Software, they're taking old animations, they're taking old ID structures. Like, they have done an amazing job. Hidetaka Miyazaki, I hope I said that right. I think it's in the outtakes at the end of the video. Like he built such an amazing system for this. Now, he might not have been in charge of this specifically, but just the entire company comes with this amazing framework of like how we're going to structure things, how we're going to build it. And it's created this amazing environment for people to go and succeed in this way. So it allows them to use that stuff from the past to make something new. That's awesome. And again, you can literally click your fingers and say, oh my god, there is X thing or there's Y thing. That's why I love Elden Ring, Night Rain so much. It's funny, like I said at the end of the video, I'm not sure if I like it or I'm just sort of... Actually, do you know what? That is a big point I want to make. Elden Ring Night Rain, because it's built on the legacy of what came from the past, and I so thoroughly believe that it is, because of the past and because of what came before, that it is so good, it's hard for me to know whether I like the game. I have been frustrated at this game a lot. You know, I've banged my fist, I've screeched or screamed, I've done all the rageful gamers tend to do when they encounter something difficult. But it's all of this, like, it's fun when I succeed, but I look at it and just... I've done the same thing with Elden Ring. I've done the same thing with Dark Souls 3, 2, 1, like Demon Souls, Bloodborne. So for me to look at this game and be like, do I genuinely like it? Or do I just enjoy playing Soulslikes? Or do I just enjoy or how this game feels? Because I haven't played Lies of P. I might at some point. I haven't played Expedition 22, 26, 50, oh god. It's an Expedition 22 or something. Expedition 22? No. Claire Obscura. Why can't I... That's strange. It's Expedition 33, there it is. I haven't I haven't played that game, and that's considered a Souls-like because of the sort of way the combat functions. But I'm so unsure of myself, because I look at the hours and games I've played, and you know, I'm one of those absolute freaks who've played like 4,000 hours in Destiny 2. Like, that's not even a joke. I have about 4,000 hours. And I've nearly 1,000 hours in Monster Hunter World, Warframe. And then Elden Ring comes up at almost 700 hours. And that's a lot of playthroughs I've done, both modded and unmodded, with friends and without friends. And then Night Rain, it's about 173 hours at the moment. And I'm kind of thinking, I'm enjoying it, but what's the nature of the enjoyment? Yeah, I can sit back and I can just kind of relish in it and then move on to the next thing, but I also want to know why. And I think so many people ignore the fact that it's not just its own game. It is this thing so heavily steeped in legacy, and I think we need to recognize that and inform how we talk about stuff in the future. Like, for example, I see it right here. Baldur's Gate 3. Larian Studios, they have a studio set up in Dublin. And, you know, I wish I could go and work for them. Because, honestly, I love what they do. I absolutely love the games they make. I played Divinity Original Sin 2, which was functioned in a very similar way to Baldur's Gate 3, but it's funny looking at Divinity Original Sin 2 and seeing all the stuff that was taken to make Baldur's Gate 3, like even just how it functions and feels, and these kind of little improvements that have been made to enhance the overall experience. It's fascinating to see that. And even like Metal Gear Solid or you know, just games like that. Like obviously Fallout New Vegas, which I brought up at the start. That's a game I played for years, and I will continue to play because it's an amazing game. But I do love how it feels. It's the same reason I think people go back and still play Dark Souls 1 and 2, 3, Bloodborne, whatever. It's because it feels a very certain way, and we have these memories of it that are just so amazing. So that's Elden Ring Night Rain in a nutshell. You know, it is all these games, you know, Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate, Metal Gear Solid, Fallout, all them, they're built on this legacy, and the reason they do so well is because of the stuff that came in the past. And I think, especially now, it's such a tempestuous time in the games industry, I think we should look at that. and say, hey, we're not looking for remakes. We're looking for you to look backwards to see what worked and not attempt to do something new or strange. So many new games come out, and yes, most of them are, like 90% of them are not fun. They're not good enough. They're not. We don't want them to be. We just don't enjoy it. But stuff like this game, Night Rain, that has been built up and has looked back, that's why we enjoy it, because it has that behind it. You know, in fact, it's the same reason we love Call of Duty, and you have people that will play every version of it every single year, despite the fact it never gets better. I'm a little, I'm a bit salty about that game, or that game series. I like Call of Duty, I do, but its legacy is a strange one. You know, the more history you have, the more people trust the authenticity of your sort of current self. Like Call of Duty, new game every single year for the past, oh god, like 13, 14, 15 years or something, even more. It's hard to look at. It's hard to look at what you have right now and say, yeah, this is the best version of me, when you have so many versions of you that just suck, or like people liked a very specific version of it before. It's like if every year they released a new game that was kind of, in fact, almost functionally identical to like Elden Ring, but the map slightly changed and all the weapons slightly changed and all this stuff. It's like every time they put out a patch. Legacy can be good and bad, so I think it's important to look at that and determine, even just for yourself, is this legacy good? You know, it's not that you're giving the next game a chance, it's if you're giving the people who are looking at their own legacy a chance to make a better decision, which can be really difficult when a game is so, you know, corporatized or so sort of corrupted. It's a sort of trope in horror media of like the past version of yourself being so twisted by perspective. You know, like I said, I do love Night Rain. I do love all these games with their legacy, but it's hard to say that I really like them because I'm unsure if I can split them from their legacy. Can I look at them as an individual game and like, I enjoy this, ergo I must like it. You know, I've played games for so many years. Like I said, I played Destiny for 4,000 hours. I can't even, I don't know, I can't do something else for 4,000 hours and still love it. It's hard to say. But yes, anyway, we're almost at 20 minutes. I'll leave that there. This is a very casual video, as you can tell. This is how I actually generally talk about stuff. I did a lot of ums and ahs and repeating points, so I thought this kind of companion video to the Escaping the Shadow, the Soulslike, might be something that people might be interested in just hearing in the background, or just trying to see where some of my points came from and whatnot. So anyway, thank you all for watching, and if you're still watching, hopefully I will get some more videos like this. It's unlikely I will return to my old meme videos. I don't play games that facilitate a lot of clips anymore. I do some stuff like Peak, but it all sort of falls away to the side. And I don't build up enough clips to have something sort of continuous. And I don't like to take big long clips, like unless they're maybe 2 minutes. But anyway, yes. Have a good day. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, there's nothing else to do. That's it. You watched. That's all I needed. Thank you very much. All right. Bye bye.